Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. You see a jacket on sale. Originally $200, now $99. You don't need a jacket. You have 3 jackets at home. But it's 50% off. You buy it. You get home, hang it in your closet next to the other jackets you never wear, and you feel stupid. Why did you buy that? You're trying to save money. You have goals. And yet somehow, you keep making decisions that work against yourself. You're not dumb. You know what you should do. But you keep doing the opposite. Welcome to behavioral finance, the study of why smart people make terrible money decisions. And today I'm going to show you exactly how your brain is sabotaging your wealth, and more importantly, how to stop it. Let me tell you about David. He's a smart guy, college educated, works in tech, makes $80,000 a year. He reads personal finance books. He knows he should save, invest, avoid debt. He knows all the rules. And yet, his savings account has $300 in it. He has $8,000 in credit card debt. He just bought a new car he can't afford. He subscribes to services he never uses. He goes out to eat when he has food at home. And every month, he looks at his bank account and thinks, "What is wrong with me?" Nothing is wrong with him. His brain is working exactly as evolution designed it. The problem is, evolution didn't design our brains for modern capitalism. We're running Stone Age software in a digital age economy, and the results are expensive. Here's what happened last week. David saw his coworker bought a new iPhone. Suddenly, his 2-year-old phone that was working fine yesterday feels obsolete. He feels behind. He feels like he's falling behind socially. So he buys the new iPhone for $1,200 on a payment plan. He doesn't have $1,200, but it's only $50 a month, and that feels manageable. That's social comparison bias and mental accounting working together to separate him from his money. His brain isn't broken. It's being exploited. Or take this one. David signed up for a gym membership in January. $600 for the year, paid up front. He went twice. It's now October. He hasn't been in 9 months. But he won't cancel it because he already paid for it, and canceling would mean admitting he wasted the money. So instead, he's keeping the membership, which means he's definitely wasting the money. That's the sunk cost fallacy. He's throwing good money after bad because his brain can't let go of money already spent. Here's another one. David gets his paycheck, $1,500 after taxes biweekly. He immediately thinks of it as 3 separate buckets in his mind. $500 is for bills. That's untouchable. $500 is for food and gas. That's necessary. $500 is extra, so he can spend it guilt-free. He buys new shoes, goes out with friends, orders takeout. The extra money is gone in 3 days, but that $500 wasn't extra. He needed it for the car insurance bill next month. He just mentally categorized it as discretionary, so he spent it. That's mental accounting. Money is fungible, but our brains don't treat it that way. Every single day, your brain is making financial decisions based on psychological biases that evolved when we lived in caves and traded berries. Stores know this. Banks know this. Credit card companies know this. They've spent billions studying how your brain works so they can design systems that exploit it. And you're sitting here thinking you're just bad with money. You're not. You're a human being with a human brain in a system designed to extract money from human brains. And today, I'm going to teach you how to recognize when you're being manipulated and how to build systems that work with your psychology instead of against it. Let's break down the actual cost of these psychological biases because they're not just interesting quirks, they're expensive. We're going to calculate how much money behavioral finance biases cost David in 1 year. And I bet you'll see yourself in at least 3 of these. First, anchoring bias. This is when the first number you see influences your perception of value. David sees that jacket originally priced at $200, now $99. His brain anchors to $200, so $99 feels like a deal. But the jacket's real value to him is 0 because he doesn't need it. The store set that $200 anchor knowing most people would never pay it. It's artificial, but it works. David buys the jacket. He does this about once a month. Sometimes it's clothes, sometimes it's electronics, sometimes it's home goods. Always stuff on sale. Cost per year, about $1,200 on things he didn't need, but bought because they were deals. Second, loss aversion. This is the psychological principle that humans feel the pain of losing something twice as strongly as the pleasure of gaining something. We're wired to avoid losses more than we seek gains. David has $8,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest. That's costing him about $1,440 a year in interest. He also has $1,500 in a savings account, earning 1% interest, $15 a year. Mathematically, he should take the savings and pay down the credit card debt. He'd save $1,425 in net interest. But he won't do it, because paying off debt feels like losing that $1,500. Keeping it in savings feels like having security. His brain is choosing to lose $1,425 to avoid the feeling of losing $1,500. Cost of this bias, $1,425 per year. Third, the sunk cost fallacy. That gym membership, $600. He's not using it but won't cancel because he already paid. That's $600 completely wasted. But it's worse than that. He also bought a Peloton bike 2 years ago for $2,000, used it for 3 months. It's now a clothes rack. He won't sell it because he paid $2,000 for it, and it's only worth $800 used. So he's keeping a $800 asset that he's not using because selling it would lock in a $1,200 loss. But the loss already happened. He's just refusing to get $800 back out of spite to his past self. Total cost of sunk cost fallacy, $600 for the gym plus $1,200 of unrealized value in the bike, $1,800. Fourth, hedonic adaptation. This is the tendency of humans to return to a baseline level of happiness despite positive changes. David got a raise last year, $5,000 more per year. He was so happy for about 2 months. Then his lifestyle adapted. Nicer apartment, $400 more per month. Nicer car, $200 more per month. Better dinners out, $100 more per month. That's $8,400 in increased annual expenses on a $5,000 raise. He's actually worse off than before the raise. Cost of hedonic adaptation, $3,400 per year in net loss. Fifth, social comparison. His coworker bought the new iPhone, so he bought one too, $1,200. His friend went to Europe, so he booked a trip he can't afford, $3,000 on credit cards. His neighbor got a new grill, so he upgraded his $500. Social media shows him everyone's highlight reels, and he's constantly trying to keep up. Cost of social comparison bias, $4,700 per year. Sixth, present bias and delayed gratification failure. David knows he should pack lunch. A homemade lunch costs $3. Buying lunch costs $12. That's $9 difference. He buys lunch 4 times a week, 50 weeks a year. That's $1,800 per year. He knows this math. But at lunchtime, the future seems far away and the sandwich shop is right there. Present bias wins. Cost, $1,800 per year. Seventh, mental accounting. Remember those separate buckets? By categorizing money as bill money versus fun money, he creates permission to spend the fun money without thinking about total financial health. This leads to overspending by about $200 per month when he doesn't account for irregular expenses. Cost, $2,400 per year. Let's add it up. Anchoring bias, $1,200. Loss aversion, $1,425. Sunk cost fallacy, $1,800. Hedonic adaptation, $3,400. Social comparison, $4,700. Present bias, 1,800. Mental accounting, 2,400. Total annual cost of psychological biases, $16,725. On an $80,000 salary, that's 21% of his income lost to behavioral finance mistakes. Here's the devastating part. If David could eliminate just half of these biases and invest that $8,362 per year in an index fund, earning 8%, in 30 years he'd have over $1 million. $1 million. The cost of not understanding your own psychology isn't just this year's mistakes. It's compound lost opportunity over your lifetime. Your brain's quirks aren't just costing you money today. They're costing you your financial freedom. So why does your brain work this way? Why are we so bad at money decisions when we're pretty good at other things? Because your brain evolved for a world that no longer exists, and modern capitalism has been specifically designed to exploit the gap. Let's start with anchoring. In the ancestral environment, the first piece of information you got was usually the most reliable. See a lion? That's probably the most important thing happening right now. First information equals most important information. This served us well for survival. But stores weaponized it. They set artificial original prices that no one ever pays. The jacket was never really $200. They printed that price to create an anchor. Kohl's has perfected this. Everything is always on sale. The sale is the price. But your brain sees the anchor and feels like it's winning. Retailers study this obsessively. They know that showing a higher price first makes the real price seem reasonable. They know that $99 feels significantly cheaper than $100, even though it's $1 difference. They know that save $50 is more compelling than pay $99, even though they're describing the same transaction. Your brain's shortcut for evaluating value is being hacked for profit. Now loss aversion. This evolved because in a survival environment, losses were catastrophic. Lose your food, you starve. Lose your shelter, you die. Gains were nice, but losses were life-threatening. So we evolved to be intensely loss-averse. Makes sense in the Stone Age. But in modern finance, it makes you irrational. You hold losing stocks because selling would make the loss real. You keep unused subscriptions because canceling would waste what you paid. You avoid paying off credit card debt because spending savings feels like a loss. Banks and credit card companies know this. They design systems that exploit it. Credit cards are a perfect example. Paying with cash feels like a loss. You see the money leave your hand. It hurts. So we spend less with cash. Paying with a card doesn't feel like a loss. It's abstract. The pain is delayed. Studies show people spend 12 to 18% more when using cards versus cash. The credit card industry has made trillions exploiting the fact that your brain doesn't process credit card spending as a real loss until the bill arrives. The sunk cost fallacy evolved because in small tribes, reputation mattered. If you started a project and quit, you looked unreliable. So we evolved to overvalue things we've already invested in. Can't let people think we make mistakes. But in modern life, this means you stay in bad jobs because you already spent years there. You keep watching bad movies because you already paid for the ticket. You hold on to garbage because you paid for it once. Companies exploit this with non-refundable deposits, annual memberships, and long-term contracts. Once they get you to pay up front, they know your brain won't let you walk away even if you're not using the service. Hedonic adaptation exists because our ancestors who were never satisfied kept striving and surviving. Contentment meant complacency, meant death. So we evolved to quickly adapt to new baselines and always want more. This was great for survival. It's terrible for financial stability. The modern economy is built on exploiting this. Advertising's entire purpose is to show you what you don't have and make you feel incomplete without it. Every ad is designed to trigger hedonic adaptation, to make your current possessions feel inadequate. You got the new car. Feels great for 2 months. Then it's just your car. Then you see a nicer car. The cycle continues. Social comparison bias exists because in small tribes, relative status mattered for survival and reproduction. Being lower status than your neighbor could literally be life or death. So we evolved to constantly compare ourselves to others. But in ancestral environments, you compared yourself to maybe 50 people you knew personally. Now you compare yourself to thousands of curated highlight reels on social media. Your brain thinks everyone is doing better than you because it's not equipped to understand that social media is a lying machine. Marketing companies know this. Influencer culture is weaponized social comparison. Buy this to be like me. Everyone has this except you. Keep up or be left behind. Present bias exists because in evolutionary time, the future was uncertain. You might not survive until next week. Better to eat the berries now than save them for a future that might not come. Delayed gratification wasn't a virtue when predators might eat you tomorrow. But in the modern world, the future is pretty reliable. You'll probably be alive in 30 years, and you'll wish you started that retirement account today. But your brain doesn't believe it. It wants the dopamine hit now. Fast food companies, casinos, payment plans, buy dash now dash, pay dash later schemes, they're all exploiting present bias. Make the immediate gratification easy and the future cost abstract. Mental accounting exists because our brains need to simplify complex information. Creating categories helps us make quick decisions. But money is fungible. A dollar is a dollar regardless of where it came from. But your brain doesn't treat it that way. Found $20 on the street? That's free money. Spend it on something fun. Earned $20 at work? That's serious money. Save it or use it for bills. Same $20. Different mental category. Different behavior. This is why you treat tax refunds like windfalls when they're literally just your own money being returned to you. Here's the thing. None of these biases are bugs. They're features. They helped us survive. But we don't live in the survival environment anymore. We live in an environment specifically designed to exploit these features. Every aspect of consumer capitalism has been A/B tested to trigger your psychological vulnerabilities. The people designing store layouts, pricing strategies, marketing campaigns, they have neuroscience degrees. They know exactly what they're doing. And you're walking in with a Stone Age brain trying to make rational decisions in a system designed to make you irrational. Alright, so your brain is working against you and the entire economy is designed to exploit it. What do you actually do? Because knowing about these biases doesn't make them go away. You can know about anchoring and still fall for it. You can know about social comparison and still feel inadequate when your friend buys a new car. Knowledge helps, but it's not enough. You need systems. You need to design your financial life so that doing the right thing is easier than doing the wrong thing. First, automate everything you can. The number one way to beat present bias is to remove decisions from your present self. Set up automatic transfers to savings the day you get paid. You can't spend what you don't see. Set up automatic bill payments so you never miss a due date. Set up automatic retirement contributions. Your future self will thank you, but more importantly, your present self won't have to make a decision. Decisions are where we fail. Remove decisions. Second, use commitment devices for things you can't automate. A commitment device is something that forces your future self to stick to your current self's intentions. Put your credit card in a block of ice in the freezer. Sounds silly, but it works. By the time it thaws, the impulse purchase urge is gone. Delete your payment information from shopping apps. Make buying harder. Friction is your friend. Give yourself a 24-hour rule. See something you want? Wait 24 hours before buying. If you still want it tomorrow, fine. But you won't. Most impulse purchases lose their appeal after the dopamine spike fades. Third, recognize and name the bias when it's happening. Actually say out loud, "This is anchoring. They're manipulating me with a fake original price." It sounds dumb, but it works. Your brain gets confused when you narrate what it's doing. It breaks the automatic pattern. When you feel the urge to buy something because it's on sale, stop and ask, would I buy this at full price? If the answer is no, you don't want the item. You want the feeling of getting a deal. Don't pay $99 for a feeling. Fourth, reframe losses as gains. This is how you beat loss aversion. Paying off credit card debt doesn't feel like losing $1,500. It feels like gaining $1,425 per year in interest you're no longer paying. Reframe it. You're not losing your savings. You're buying your financial freedom. Canceling the unused gym membership isn't admitting defeat. It's gaining $600 back. The money is already gone. You're choosing whether to lose it once or lose it forever. Fifth, combat hedonic adaptation by practicing gratitude and tracking your adaptations. When you get something new, enjoy it. Actually pay attention to the happiness it brings. Then watch yourself adapt to it. Notice when it becomes normal. This awareness helps you resist the next upgrade cycle. You know the new thing will also become normal, so why chase it? Also, regularly appreciate what you already have. Studies show gratitude practices reduce hedonic adaptation. Sounds cheesy. Works anyway. Sixth, curate your social comparison inputs ruthlessly. Unfollow people on social media who make you feel inadequate. Unsubscribe from marketing emails. Stop watching house hunting shows if they make you feel behind. Your brain will compare yourself to whatever inputs you give it. Control the inputs. Follow people who share your values, not people who make you feel like you need more stuff. This isn't about ignorance. It's about protecting your psychology. Seventh, use cash for discretionary spending. This is a direct counter to loss aversion exploitation. Withdraw a set amount of cash for the week. When it's gone, it's gone. Paying with cash activates the pain of loss that credit cards bypass. You'll spend less, guaranteed. It feels old-fashioned. It works. Eighth, implement a cooling-off fund for sunk costs. Put money aside specifically labeled as allowed to waste. Sounds counterintuitive. Here's why it works. When you make a mistake, paying for it from this fund feels less painful because the money was mentally earmarked for mistakes anyway. This makes it easier to cut your losses instead of throwing good money after bad. Buy a gym membership you're not using? Cancel it. You're not wasting the $600. You're spending from your sunk cost fund. Mental accounting is working for you instead of against you. Ninth, invest in experiences over things, because hedonic adaptation is slower for experiences. A vacation becomes a memory that often gets better over time. A new car becomes just your car within months. This isn't about denying yourself. It's about spending money on things that your brain is better designed to appreciate long-term. 10th, get an accountability partner. Someone who knows about these biases and will call you out. Someone who will text you and say, "That's social comparison talking," when you mention your coworker's new car. External accountability works when internal awareness fails. Here's what I need you to understand. You are not broken. Your brain is not defective. You're not weak-willed or stupid or bad with money. You're a human being with a human brain that evolved for one environment and is now operating in a completely different one. And the difference between those environments is being weaponized against you for profit. But here's the empowering part. Once you understand these biases, once you can name them, once you build systems around them, you take back control. You're no longer a passive victim of your psychology. You're an active designer of systems that work with your brain instead of against it. That jacket on sale stops being a good deal and starts being a transparent manipulation tactic. That gym membership you're not using stops being a guilty shame and starts being a sunk cost you're finally ready to abandon. The $16,700 David lost to behavioral biases, he can get most of that back. Not by becoming a different person, but by building systems that make the right choice the easy choice. Automation for present bias. Friction for impulse spending. reframing for loss aversion, awareness for social comparison. These aren't complicated. They're just deliberate. So here's what I want you to do. Pick one bias from this video. Just one. The one that costs you the most money. Is it social comparison? Curate your social media this week. Is it anchoring? Implement the 24-hour rule. Is it loss aversion? Pay off your credit card with your savings and watch how much money you save. Just one bias, one system. See what happens. Because the system is designed to exploit you. But you're not helpless. You're informed. And information plus systems equals power. Your Stone Age brain can thrive in the modern economy. It just needs some help from your conscious mind. Give it that help. You'll be amazed what happens. I'll see you in the next one.